Ideally, we want to limit eating out as much as possible. But in saying that, we all enjoy eating out for social occasions or with friends and family. So when it comes to eating out, how you log that food becomes really important. It all comes down to estimating and guesstimating. So when you're eating out and choosing a particular food, try to have a look for that restaurant on MyFitnessPal first. If you can't find that particular restaurant, go ahead and have a look for another option that looks really similar to the meal that you have chosen. Often it's best to overestimate and choose something that has a slightly higher calorie intake than you thought it might have. So a second option for logging your meal on MyFitnessPal is to look at your plate and identify the different macronutrient groups on that plate. For example, I can look at this one here and see that I've got my protein from beans and tofu, I've got my carbohydrates and rice, and I've got my vegetables there as well. So I can then log those by using things like a fist for about a cup of vegetables or rice, or I can use the base of my palm for things like beans and tofu, and that's around about 100 grams. So using those simple techniques can help you to log that a little more accurately. So some quick tips for choosing a meal at a restaurant is to select a plate that's going to have clearly identifiable food groups in it. So for example, like we have here, the protein, the vegetables, and the carbohydrates. That way it's much easier to estimate the amount of food in each of those, as opposed to trying to log something, for example, like a curry or a pasta that has a lot of different ingredients. It's very hard to make out how much is in each of those. Another really good tip is to try and customize that meal as much as you can. So asking the chef to maybe put the guacamole on the side like I have here, and then I can add as much to the meal as I need to try and meet my calorie target for that day. You can also ask to maybe not cook with oil or butter, and just to reduce the calorie intake a little bit there to help with your calorie control for that meal. And lastly, to reduce the calorie content of that meal as much as you can, selecting drinks that are lower in calories or calorie-free is a really good option. So things like water and sugar-free sodas are a really good option to reduce the calorie total of that meal.